All right, we are officially live. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy October, you guys. I am so excited. Hey, if you registered, high five, kudos for you. If you registered and you are live on here as we speak, I, I did. I'm so excited. I am hoping to give you a lot of information that you really aren't seeing anywhere else. Don't be shy. Please know that I love interaction. This is meant to sort of kind of give me the opportunity to ask your pressing questions about everything weight loss that you just don't feel comfortable asking anywhere else. I will do my best to see the comment section, but hey, if you are new, if you're hopping on live, let me know where you're coming from, what part of Colorado, or maybe you're out of state. But hey, it's exciting. It's exciting time in the world of health and weight loss. And just a little bit about me. If you don't know who I am, gosh, I am sorry you don't know who I am. I am Dr. Angela, America's weight loss doctor, and I've been doing this since 2012, you guys. Yes, I am old. Been doing this, but fast forward to the year 2025, I feel like I got my ticket to Hollywood. And because I've been doing this for so long, in fact, I was telling someone the other day, I was probably in the second round of actually being officially board certified in this. So yes, I am board certified in obesity medicine and internal medicine. But here's the cool part. That's not the certification that you should even care about. Yes, it's important, but here's the real credibility that you need to know and why you are hopping on today. Okay, this is the tried everything, nothing works, what will workshop. Okay, so here's my certification. I'm old. I am literally I'm in my mid to late 40s, you guys. I'm short. I'm 5'1". Okay. It's deceiving how I've seen a lot of people on Zoom and I literally have no idea how tall you are. Usually I'm wrong. So I think people are short and then they end up being, 5'11" kind of thing. Um, I'm female, certification number 3. Here's one of the more important certifications, okay? Um, Going through the whole fun perimenopause, menopause, give me a thumbs up, like, amen, you got it down below. Certification, all hormone hot mess. It's awesome. I'll let you know come my birthday in January what happens after that. And then finally, I gained 40 pounds when I was pregnant with my daughter, 10 years ago. She's about to turn 11. The worst of it all is I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. Yes, I had to sit in my OB/GYN's office for a whole half day drinking the junky stuff. You guys know who you are, where you failed the first 1 hour glucose, and then congratulations, now you have to actually carve out an entire half day, eat or drink that junky stuff every hour, for 3 hours just to get a blood test to say, hey, congratulations, now you have gestational diabetes, okay? But here's the last thing that you need to know, okay? Here's the cool part. Literally, because I've been helping people lose weight since 2012, these weight loss injections, which you're dying to just kind of get more information of, only really hit the market, 3 years ago or so. So guess what Dr. Tran was doing from 2012 up until about 2022. Helping people lose weight without injections. Boom, mic drop, right? I'm here to tell you that there are multiple ways to lose weight. There's not always a one way, and don't get tunneled. But there are a lot of things that work. There's a lot of things that don't work, and that's why we're hopping in. Okay. And then the last thing that you need to know is this, like, hands down 100%, if GLP1s existed when I needed it, and this was in 2014, I needed it because I was 40 pounds overweight, post-delivery, gestational diabetes, my blood sugars were just crazy. I would 100% put myself on the injection, no questions asked, okay? But fast forward to today, I'm doing amazing. It's not easy, but I have a formula. I follow it. And guess what? I actually would eat my 20-year-old for breakfast. I'm in a really good shape, for my age and height and gender and everything. So I will never, ever be on a GLP-1 injection. And here's the cool part. I'm here to show you that, yes, whether you want to use it, awesome. Whether you don't want to use it, awesome. It is all about possibility. Okay, so let's just dive in. I'm going to do this in a very unique way. Okay, I'm not aware of what you've seen from workshops and social media and who you've been following, but I want to take kind of a unique approach today, which I've never done before. Okay, so we're going to do kind of like an interactive case study. Okay, so literally a couple of things before we just hit the ground running. Okay, number one, there's a couple of you who are like just super excited because yes, Dr. Tran, I've tried everything, including GLP-1s. Absolutely nothing works. So I literally am here to really understand what you have to say. Awesome. You're great. Number two, some of you is like, well, it was free. I love free stuff. So do I, especially when it comes to food, but sorry, I can't give you food, but it's free. And then finally, number three, you're like, Dr. Tran, you're full of it. I'm skeptic. I'm just here to just make sure that I know that you can't tell me anything that I haven't heard before, and I'm just like toast, done kind of thing. And that's okay. Okay. So, but I'm going to make one bold promise for you. Okay. By the end of this workshop, doesn't matter if I ever see you again. I would love to see you on a long-term basis, but if you just take the information and run with it, I guarantee you will find out information that you need to know to take the next steps on your own personal weight loss journey. Okay. And if I'm wrong, then hop on a phone call and tell me, slap me in the face. But my intention is for you to walk away with full on information, not just fluff. Okay, so let's just dive in. Okay, so we're going to talk about the typical female patient that really falls into the category of tried everything, including GLP-1s, nothing works. Let's find out what will. Okay, so I have a patient. She is female. She's 5'4". She's 157 pounds. Okay. She is a working professional. She has 2 kids. She actually is fairly healthy. And what I mean by that is that not a whole lot of fast food, every now and then, sure, but cooks most of her meals, sure, enjoys, restaurants, but for the most part, she's actually really good about like cooking or meal planning. Okay. She is avid in exercise. So, but she loves running. That's her favorite. Okay. So she runs at least, a couple miles, 3 to 4 times a week, takes walks, tries her best to hit 10,000 steps a day. Doesn't always happen, but she exercises and she does it regularly. I mean, she's been doing it since college kind of thing. Okay. But a couple unique scenarios. She, was mostly at her normal weight in her younger years. But then, boom, college hit her, as you know, the freshman 15. She doesn't drink a whole lot of alcohol, but yeah, we all enjoy a glass or two, maybe a night or, weekends or whatnot. Married, and then started having children. First child was totally okay. Normal weight gain, actually fairly straightforward, was able to lose the weight. And then second child, she's like, what the heck? She had some complications during pregnancy, ended up having to sort of kind of slow down her running, not be as physical. It wasn't necessarily bed rest, but she did have to be careful. She actually gained, I think she said like 15 pounds, even more than the first pregnancy. Okay. And then the complications, so she wasn't running as much. By the time she had her second child, thankfully healthy baby, but literally barely lost any weight after the second child. And then fast forward to today, she's in her mid to late 40s, done everything under the sun. And then here we are. Okay. So this workshop is all about, okay, let's walk into Dr. Tran's brain here. Okay. So Here are the questions that I asked her once I sort of kind of got the lay of the land, which is what I just described to you. Okay. So if, take a quick pause. If you can kind of guess or if you have like your own questions, let's interact here. What kind of questions do you think you would ask, this female patient who has, fairly healthy, but, runner, gained a lot of weight during second pregnancy and now everything kaput. Okay. Let's start with the standard, well, let's just call her Jane. Hey, Jane, just a simple question. What kind of diets did you try? Oh my gosh, Dr. Tran. So I did a little bit of intermittent fasting and keto. And I was like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, sometimes I do it intermittent fasting, and sometimes I would do keto. Okay, awesome. Um, she's done the traditional juice cleanse. You raise your hand if you've done it, where you need to lose like 5 pounds like yesterday to get into like, a dress that you were attending the wedding on the weekend or whatever, kind of thing. So she was like, it was painful. It was torture. I lost like 6 pounds in an instant. And then I ate. And then literally within a day, all that work went to waste and she gained like even more than what she lost, kind of thing. Okay. She's done the whole 30. Whole 30 actually worked for her. Guess when it didn't? When 30 days was over. And so she was just like nightmare. I was like, why am I torturing myself? Kind of a thing. Okay. So, but she kept circulating between us like, oh, okay, well, it's January. Well, gosh, January is usually my intermittent fasting. I do dry January. I cut out alcohol. I cut out sugar. I cut out breathing, Dr. Tran, during the month of January. Okay. So you know where the story is going. Okay. So I was like, okay, what's the next question? So, Jane, do you happen to know ballpark how many calories, you're eating? Just a simple question, okay? This literally is what I do, on a consultation call. We'll talk about that, okay? So she's like, gosh, I was just like, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't like really, really tracking. I hate logging foods. I've used MyFitnessPal and the Lose It app, but, 2,000 maybe, and a little bit more on the weekend. So like, okay. Noted. Okay, next question. What do you guys think? Okay, pop your questions down below. So awesome. Okay, so we're just gonna go over the easy questions. Okay, so exercise. You're like, okay, well, I'm a runner. I love running. This is kind of like my saving grace, but I did hurt my ankle a couple months ago. Literally, like, couldn't even like bear weight on it. I was out for like 6 weeks. And then, goodness gracious, I even gained like another 5 pounds that I had to work really hard to get off, kind of thing, during that period, kind of thing. Okay, cool. So we got kind of like the basics down. Okay, so let's really get to the nitty gritty of, sort of what a weight loss specialist would then need to know. Okay, put a question down below if you can guess what's next. Okay, so we're just going to go through like the literally simple questions. There's no like tricky questions. I'm not manipulating anything. Okay, so I would ask, okay, what medications are you taking? Okay, so she was like, I don't like to take medication. I tend to be natural. I don't like processed foods or anything like that. So I take a whole bunch of supplements. I did go to, down the street provider who sold me like, I'm not exaggerating. She probably had like 10 bottle supplements from like B12 fish oil and, this for like stress and this for like blood sugar control and like 10 bottles. And then she's like, oh, because I just, I'm getting up there, that place felt like I needed hormone replacement. So they put me on estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, like just kind of the hormone cocktail, if you will. Okay. So it's like, oh, okay, interesting. Next question. Did you, I actually asked what form of testosterone? Is it the cream? Is it like pellets? What? It's like pellets. Okay, awesome. Okay, how long have you been on hormone replacement therapy? Like 6 months. And like, okay, well, compared to like 6 months ago, um, what's your weight now? And she was like, you know what? Coming to think about it, I legitimately felt like I gained 15 pounds in 2 months. And I was so mad, but I continued to do the hormone replacement therapy just because I thought that that's what I was supposed to do, but it's driving me nuts. So I was like, okay, we'll come back to that. Okay. So don't worry. I was like, don't worry. Okay. Just getting information. You're doing okay. Okay. So then, okay, cool. What's the next question? Okay, pop down the question below. What else would you need to know from Jean to kind of dig about this? Okay. So she said, I was like, okay, as a doctor, when was the last time you got lab work? And she's like, oh, I got six labs 6 months ago. Everything was okay. Awesome. So then I was like, well, what was checked? And then she said, well, I don't know. They just told me I was normal. Okay, cool. Let's look at that. If you can grab a coffee, would love to take a look at it. Okay. Just to give you a hint, I did take a look at it, in the aftermath, and they checked a cholesterol-based metabolic panel, just to give you some extra info. Okay. So let's dig a little bit deeper. Okay. Jane, tell me about your life. How, like, she's like, I am done with dieting. I literally am just going to take, I'm going to choose violence today. I want that t-shirt. Hey, can you just pop a link where I can find that t-shirt? I choose violence today. Because can you imagine? She's done all these diets. They're fat diets. I mean, they work short term. We all can agree that they're short term. They're just not sustainable. So she's just kind of knew that. Okay. But then she tried hormone replacement therapy, or just someone who just gave her supplements. You just think, okay, we're just going to rev you up and get things going. And it was even worse. She gained even more weight, kind of thing. So, so she's like, I've been stressed. Even though I don't eat out a lot, I stress eat, guilty. Okay. So how do you sleep at night? Next question. That's what she said. I get it. Hey, full transparency, I don't sleep well either. I actually have to take a lot of naps during the daytime, so I have a very disrupted 7.5 hours of sleep, which is awesome, but hey, it works for me. But she said, yeah, 2 a.m. is just my favorite time to just wake up for no reason, and then I'm struggling, and by the time I get back to bed at like 4:30, my alarm goes off at 5, and then crap hits the fan and I'm done, kind of thing. So okay. And then anything else I need to know? And she's like, yeah, I kid you not. She said, I went online. I had all these girlfriends that did GLP1s. I just, picked a company, got GLP1. Literally, it made me sick. And I didn't even lose weight. I'm so mad. And so I was like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. I was like, just out of curiosity, you know, well, what was the name of the company? Where did you get this from? Kind of thing, just so that I know. And she's like, I don't know. Okay. That's okay. Not okay, but okay. How many months did you do it? She's like, I did 2. Okay. Do you know how many what the dose was? Is usually in milligrams. She's like, I don't know. They just told me to do it in units. Okay. And then literally, I was just like literally throwing money away. It was making me sick. I wasn't losing weight. It doesn't work, Dr. Tran. So, okay, cool. So, all right. So, do you guys have any other questions? I probably had a few more, but this is actually what I do all day long. If you want to hop on a consultation with me, this is what we do. Okay. So here is sort of like, okay, why you even showed up in the first place. So a couple things. What happens is that, let's just call it gap number one. I never wanted to call it like a problem because at the end of the day, you tried your best. Okay. Which is we're just going to see gap or areas of improvement. Okay. Number one, just remember if you do a diet, you don't quite follow the rules, you're not consistent. When you short term lose weight and you gain the weight back, the problem with that is that you actually caused more delayed of your metabolism, meaning it's actually even slower. That's why you sort of gain the weight back, is because, like I said, when you do these sort of like fad diets, let's just say the juice cleanse, okay, you're literally just drinking juice. She lost weight, she lost water weight, she maybe lost some body fat, but hey, guess what? She lost muscle. She lost a lot of weight that actually was important to keep. Okay, write that down. We don't want to lose weight that we want to keep. And unfortunately, these hidden fad diets that have a special name, and then all of a sudden it's all over social media, you don't realize that you're getting short-term results and long-term damage. Okay, so let's just say that, I was like, Jane, at this point, you're in your 40s, you're trying to boil water when your stove won't turn on. Okay, so that's step number one. That's the gap. Okay, you need to just understand, not a fault of your own, but your metabolism is not as cool today as it was compared to, when we were in 20s. Okay, number two, we gotta look at your medications. Okay, so now I don't fault you for looking at hormone replacement therapy because there is some benefits, to, again, as a female, as you're getting older, menopause, if you're dealing with hot flashes, low sex drive, just irritability, mood, absolutely there, but talk to your provider because there's a lot of downsides around that. Okay, but it's an indirect way of losing weight. Like it's not like actually designed to help you lose weight. Okay, so there's actually a disappointment because I think a lot of women say, oh my gosh, I'm on estrogen, I'm going to magically lose 10 pounds. Actually, that's not how it works. And in fact, the opposite. Now, not always true, but I'm telling you, hormone replacement therapy actually can cause you to gain weight because we're messing with chemistry, folks. And then again, females, there's a reason why we don't have a lot of testosterone. Okay, and if you're not careful, you could have way too much testosterone. And hey, guess what? Those pellets, they stay in your system for a long time. Okay, that's why you only have to go every 3 months. Congratulations. Now you're stuck with testosterone. You can't just discontinue it. It has to take time to get out of your system. No wonder this person gained 15 pounds in a matter of 2 months, kind of thing. Okay, so we're just barking up the wrong tree. Okay, third piece, lab work. Now, here, she thought she did the right thing, and she did, getting lab work, but hey, guess what? If you were told that you were normal, but you don't know what you got checked, she got a cholesterol and basic metabolic panel. Let's give an example. It would literally be if I took a picture of your arm and said, you're awesome, you're healthy, you're great. Congratulations, you got lab work, you're normal. Cholesterol basic metabolic was great. C- to that doctor who checked just that as part of the routine. There's a lot more to it. Okay, now I'm not going to throw any primary care doctors under the bus. I used to be one. I probably still am one, but don't get under this false impressions like I'm normal, my labs are normal. Hey, guess what? Unfortunately, you only got the basic. She didn't even get the basic. She got the basic. So we had to check more labs. And lo and behold, guess what? I don't check this on everyone, but because she was on hormone replacement therapy, her testosterone levels were way too high. So the value of finding information, okay? And then, okay, and so you think it's okay, the miracle drug GLP-1 is going to save my life. Okay, here's the thing about GLP-1s, okay? They work 100%, absolutely. But it's like getting keys to the car without knowing how to drive. You cannot lose weight by having just the keys. Okay. So the gap of it is that, well, number one, you need to know what company you're buying this from. Okay. And I get it. It's scary out there. I totally get it. We're trying to buy Labubus. Okay. I safely can go on Amazon, but if I go to some random, website, poplabubu.com kind of thing. I know they've never heard of that. I don't know if I'm getting the real stuff. Sorry, this is just a fun conversation I've had, with a friend. So, but it's true. Like, am I getting a real Labubu, or do I physically have to go to the Far East Asian Center here in Denver to get the real one? Otherwise, I'm just going to be scammed, kind of thing. Okay. The other gap is that, hey, guess what? You're working with a doctor, or you're working with a provider. You didn't even know what dose you were on. In fact, full on transparency, I stopped going to my previous hair salon because they started providing GLP1s. I'm like, what the heck? You guys stay in your lane, cut hair. You do not belong in selling these injections that, yes, can help people lose weight and again also kill people too. So we might as well stick to cutting hair. Yeah, okay. So everything's okay. Okay. So these are why we think we've tried everything and it doesn't work. Okay. So, but please know that you've tried your best. Don't go back and, feel bad. You did your best. Okay. But I'm going to show you the yellow brick road to what you need to do next. Okay. So, number one, we need to know the chemistry landscape. Okay. So you can do any diet you want. You can literally go to Orange Theory or F45 6 days a week for all that matters. But if you do not address the chemistry, then don't bother, because the blood, sweat, and tears will make you gain 5 pounds. Okay. So that's in the form of a medical weight loss specialist. Now, I'm just going to put a plug. Now, I actually have a lot of friends now who are in that specialty, which is awesome. Okay. So you don't even have to go to me, but if you go to someone who has the actual, it's Diplomat of American Obesity Medicine, or ABOM. Okay. If they have like that label, you are safe to start there. Okay. So whether it's me or someone else you find in the area, this is like cardiology. This is like endocrinology. Like, yes, a primary care doctor can order these, injections for you, but there are so many nuances. I kid you not. I mean, did you know that I actually have a medical license that if you needed a chemotherapy drug, I actually could order that because I have a license to do so. Would I? Never. That's not my specialty. I don't specialize in cancer. So this is really how you want to treat it. Okay, number one. Number two, you need to review your medications. Okay. I literally, probably, I would say 7 out of 10 people I talk to are on a medication that is actually one of the biggest bumps. I've even talked to a gentleman who, legit, that was like the biggest hurdle of all. We got rid of that medication, then poof, back to normal. But he lived for several years on this medication, thinking that there was something wrong with him. Okay. Third piece is labs. Okay. Now, again, as a medicine obesity specialist, there are certain labs. Well, first of all, we don't want opposite ends of the spectrum. We don't want to just get cholesterol based on metabolic panel. Okay. The primary care doctor may not know what we need, but we also don't want to go the opposite. We do not, raise your hand, take an oath. And I do not want to spend $2,000 on 50 pages of labs either. Okay. Don't get oversold in labs, because you don't need all those particles and markers and blah, blah, blah. Okay. We just need a little bit that, hey, guess what? Whether you want to pay out of pocket, which is like kind of a low cost, or insurance. Okay. So I don't order anything, extravagantly like nobody orders. I order the thorough stuff that gives me the full picture. Okay. Here's the cool part about it. I've done it. Been here long enough. And it's cool because it makes me feel like I'm a real doctor, but I totally diagnose in a completely separate condition that has nothing to do with weight loss, pure simply because I ordered the right labs and I know how to interpret them. And happy ending. We got a diagnosis. They're getting to see a specialist, but this person lived for years not knowing the diagnosis. Okay. So see that. Okay. And let's fast forward to the GLP1s. Okay. So Let's talk about it. Okay, so what does GLP-1 even do? Okay, couple things. It it is a direct treatment for weight loss. Okay, it is not indirect. It is direct. Okay, so hormone therapy indirect, GLP-1 direct. Okay, so we know that it actually is designed to help you lose weight. How? Number one, it treats insulin resistance. Well, Dr. Tran, how do I know if I have insulin resistance? Okay, hop on a call with me. We get lab work. We'll figure it out. Okay. Number two, it controls your appetite. Directly controls your appetite. Okay. Reminder: hormone replacement therapy indirect. Maybe helps with appetite. Maybe doesn't. Actually, can increase it. Direct GLP-1s. Okay. And finally, number three, increases your metabolism. Yes, it legitimately helps you to burn calories. Okay. Now, if you were a really good note taker, you were paying attention, you might have noticed that Jane said, I think I eat 2,000 calories, maybe even more. And she was only like 5'4". Hey, congratulations. You were eating to maintain or gain. Okay. Now, we're not going to get too much caught up in, because I don't want you to get back into like, well, do I need to eat 500 calories? That's not what this is all about. Okay. But again, you are living with a body that you're trying to boil water when the stove won't turn on. You need to figure out what to ignite the gas to keep that fire going. And then you need to know what to sustain it. Okay. So we talked about, all of that, and then the GLP-1s. Okay. But here's what you need to know. Okay. You need to understand the nuances of GLP-1s. Guess what? There's actually 4 now to date on the market. Technically, there are 2, but there's like 4 names. You might be familiar with Ozempic and Wegovy, which falls under the umbrella of semaglutide, which is the classic GLP-1. Okay, but here's the cool part. Now we've got Mounjaro and Zepbound, and it falls under the name tirzepatide, which is GLP-1 and GIP. Okay, 2 peptides. Okay, if you're old like me, you remember the double mint, double gum commercial. 2 is better than 1. Okay, so here's where we take you to the next level. Okay, number 1, hop on a phone call with me. I'm sure you have so many questions. You can go to our website at medfitmedicalweightloss.com, or all you have to do is comment link below, and then we will capture you and we'll get you, sent that information. Okay. It's super easy. Phone consultations are free. Hop on. As you know, I can do this within a matter of minutes. Okay. But here's what you need to do next. Okay. We need to kind of figure out why GLP-1s didn't work in you. Okay. And there are some nuances where I see people where like, I legitimately did what I was supposed to do, and I even got to the higher doses. I took it for a long time. I'm not losing weight. So I have the solution that you need to know that is the best of the best. Okay. Don't waste your time on other options. Be careful when you're price shopping, because honestly, if you're paying less, you might actually be spending more on time and lack of results. You don't want to do that. Okay. So as a professional, I literally pay attention to the news minute by minute. So Zepbound, okay, write that down. Zepbound, Zepbound, is the latest weight loss injection that actually can do its best to make Ozempic look like old news. Okay. Just statistically, Ozempic and Wegovy on average will help produce about 15% weight loss, maybe 20. Okay. Zepbound, which is FDA approved for weight loss, FDA approved for sleep apnea, and I think it just has like treatment abilities for fatty liver disease. It helps produce on average over 20%. Okay. Here's what you need to know. Okay. Well, lean in. Why, Dr. Tran? Well, number 1, it has 2 peptides. Remember, works in both the butt, the butt, the gut and the brain, and the butt, of course, to really take the food noise away, reduce your sugar cravings, reduce your appetite, increase your metabolism, make you feel normal. It's awesome. Okay. Number two, there are so many dosing options. Okay, so Ozempic and Wegovy, and even just semaglutide baseline has like this many dosing options. No wonder some of you, you know, don't get much after a certain dose. Okay, but Zepbound has this wide of dosing. Goes from very low to 2.5 to like 15 milligrams. Okay, so the cool part is that, hey, if you're stuck, awesome, we have the opportunity to go up in dosing. Okay, I literally help people lose over 100 pounds easily without surgery because of this medication. Okay, so, and then now third, this is just based on observation. Not always true, but what I'm seeing is that the tolerability of the side effects are better. Okay, the second peptide, I don't know if it has an influence, but as you guys know, these injections are not easy on the stomach. They'll cause some nausea, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, things like that. But I do find that people who really struggled on semaglutide, they switched to Zepbound and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Okay, so I hope you guys are getting all these nuggets, because it's important. I'm literally a very straight shooter. Okay. So here's what I have to offer you. Okay. Remember that Zepbound is the keys. Okay. But you need someone to help you teach you how to drive the car. Okay. So we're introducing the RX GPS navigator. Okay. That's right. Okay. With my years of experience, like literally 13 years now. Okay. So what we're going to do is it's in two parts. Okay. You're going to enroll in the RX GPS navigator program. Okay. Comment GPS below. Okay. My team will reach out and give you the link, all the information, but what's included. Okay. Number one, we're literally going to manage all of your medication and dosing. Okay. So we really want to make sure that you actually know what milligrams you are on, and what your pace is. Are you going to, increase? Are you going to stay low? Should you start in the middle? All of that. Okay. So we're going to really lock and load. I will also have dedicated what we call SS team for you. They call it success and safety. Okay. Injections are not fun. I'm not going to lie. I do not like needles. Okay. We understand that. It's kind of like nerve-wracking. So we have a team to going to reach out to really hold your hand so that so we can increase your comfort level. The first injection, we just get the jitters out, okay, and teach you how to do that. And then honestly, it's a tiny needle, it's easy. Then you're like, oh, no big deal. But I tell you, sometimes, and I admit, I would want someone to hold my hand. Okay. The third piece, the GPS. Okay. So I need to tweak your nutrition. I need to understand, what your nutrition is like. Okay. I need to understand your exercise. If you've had previous lab work, I would like to look at that. If you have medications, hey, guess what? I need to know which one are the trouble children. And then do we have to set goals to get you off the medication? Okay. GPS. Okay. So that's the next phase. Okay. We do have once a month Q&A Zoom sessions. It's actually a lot of fun because you do actually, guess what? Get to hang out with other members who are GLP1s and ask questions without feeling embarrassed by it. Okay. Because sometimes you really have all these questions, but you don't want to ask your mother because she's part of the problem, and you don't want to ask your coworker because you're not really that close, and then your best friend just has all these problems and you're like, okay, I'm not going to bother. We have Q&A sessions. Okay. And the last but not least that I want you to know is that me as your GPS navigator, here's the cool part. When you pop in the destination, okay, it's just like, okay, I want to go to this. And the GPS will say, boop, 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 boop. Okay, let's just say we want you to lose like 25 to 30 pounds in 3 months or less. That's the average, just to give you an expectation in a general sense. Okay, so awesome. We have the destination. Okay, but what happens if you accidentally turn left instead of right? The GPS doesn't like smack you in the head and say, you idiot. But that's what you're seeing, out there with like all these online companies are like, well, good luck to you. Or you probably, didn't do this or that. It's your own fault. Like, it might actually not be your fault. Okay. The cool part about the GPS is that, if you turn left instead of right, what do you see? That word says rerouting. Okay. That's why you want to hang out with us, because hey, guess what? If you turn left, we'll reroute. And guess what? You might have found a faster way to get to your destination, okay? So I want to let you know the value of working with us, because you can't just take the medication. If you don't have a map and a destination, you don't have directions, okay? So again, comment GPS below. It is a very special program. It's 2 steps, okay? Step number 1, you're going to enroll in the RX GPS program. We do start with 3 months, okay? But don't worry, there's payment plans. We partner with a firm in Klarna. Heck, if you have HSA, we got to use it before we lose it in the year, okay? That's step number 1. Step number 2, Zepbound has an amazing patient savings coupon from Eli Lilly, which is the actual drug makers. You got it. This is the brand version. This is not the compound. Comparably, if you compare the pricing, honestly, we've done all the research. You might as well pay for the brand version through the patient savings coupon. Okay. So I hate to say it, to date, things may change, but you're paying a lot for the compound version. You might as well pay for the similar pricing for Zepbound. Okay. The cool part about it is that Eli Lilly has their own direct pharmacy. They are literally a $1 billion company. They're like Amazon. Once we submit the prescription, ships in 2 to 3 business days. Literally, you could probably start in like 2 days, kind of thing. My team will then get you set up in the GPS. We'll get you locked and loaded, and then we will direct you from A to Z. Okay, so that's really the value of just understanding the nuances. And hey, guess what? It's not your fault. You tried everything. So let's put blame to the side. Don't say, darn it, I should have did this, or I know that I should have understood which company I was getting. Don't do that. Okay. I'm just here to give you the fast forward experience that I've been seeing over the last 13 years. And the cool part about it is that I love it. It's easy for me. But what you need to know is that, yeah, I'm an old, short female in perimenopause. That's all you need to know about me. And I can help you lose weight, okay? I hope this was helpful, because sometimes I get a little irritated on what I'm seeing on the internet. And then I'm just like, okay, I say, hey, team, we're running a workshop because people are just not getting the right information. But again, it's not easy finding the right, people, company, and whatnot, kind of thing. So awesome. You guys are great. My team's going to run through all of the different comments. We're going to reach out. Kudos for you for register. You need to forward that email and send it to your girlfriends who need to catch the replay. We will only have the replay till the end of the week, and then we'll take it out. But this is important information. But the cool part about it is that don't waste your money on other things. It might be cheaper, but it's going to cost you time and then effort, and then it might even cause you to gain weight, kind of thing. But this is literally, your dollars will go a long way. Best bang for your buck. Okay. So thanks for listening. I'm going to hang out. I'll probably run this workshop and more to come, but you guys are amazing. Hopefully this really helps you graduate off the hamster wheel, and stay tuned, because there are more injections coming on the market in the next probably a year and a half to 2. Okay. All right. We'll see you. Have a great day. So